I've been searching high and low to figure out how to change the transmission fluid on a Lincoln MKC 2.0. And the biggest issue I had was finding a video that went directly to the source of where you actually put the fluid in on the 6F35 transmission. I try to focus in on that area, but that green little circle thing down there is what we need to take out and where the transmission fluid actually goes in. But we'll go through the whole process real quick and show you how to do it so you don't do what I did and spend a couple of days trying to figure out how to do it. But luckily, when I searched 6F35 transmission fluid change on YouTube, I was actually able to figure it out and find another video. So we'll go through the process and show you how it's done. Underneath here, you will find, hopefully, the cover that goes underneath this. That is a Torque 30 drill bit there, so tool. So if you have one of these fancy things that I have, it has come in handy so many different times, but it gives you all sorts of options for these types of things. So once we take off this cover here, we'll be able to access the transmission drain plug. It makes it easier, at least for me. If there's a faster, better way of doing it, by all means, knock yourself out. But taking the air box and everything seems to make it a little more of an easier access because, well, the way they make vehicles nowadays, it's all crammed in there. So the air box itself just literally pops out right here. And there's another area over here where it just sinks in. It's actually right here behind the battery. So it just literally don't, be up, trying to figure out, okay, do I need to do more force or is there something else screwing it in? The actual plastic box itself pops out. You just got to make sure this has been taken care of, okay? Now, I make this easier by taking the mass airflow sensor area off of it so I can get right in here to the actual fill valve spot. You'll have to move some of these coolant lines out of the way so you can get to it a little easier, but that's it. You got these two areas here, you'll just squeeze that and it will pop right off. I can't do that while holding it, at least I don't think so. No, I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers to do that. But you squeeze that and then you bring it back up. Just make sure that you note where it is in position wise so that when you're ready to put it back in, you put it back in the same area. You don't wanna mess that one up. And there is the transmission drain plug. Give you an idea about where the oil filter is. Just go over about a foot and over about another foot or so. Anyway, there it is. This is the 6F35 transmission, and that's where it is. It takes 11 millimeter socket wrench. So we'll go ahead and open that up, get it drained, put it back in, and then we will put the transmission fluid back in. Everything I've read about and heard about, it looks like it's about 4 to 4.5 quarts. So, but I have a measuring picture that will help with that. When I was pulling this off, it looked like they had some pipe threading tape. So I went ahead and did that, but I made sure it was towards the very, very end of it, so it doesn't have a chance of it possibly going into the actual transmission area itself. So that or Loctite, but I make sure that if I were you, I'd make sure that you get the right version of Loctite so that if you or the next owner of the vehicle starts doing this again, you're not having a heck of a time trying to get it off. One of the tricks that I saw, because you're supposed to hand tighten it, but obviously you want to get it on there so it doesn't have any issues, is that when it starts to get tight, instead of going down here, put your hand here, and then when it's difficult for you to turn it, that's good enough. I picked this up on, well, I say Amazon, but it wasn't. It was Walmart. But it's obviously you see it's a really big picture, and it gives you all sorts of options as far as reading all the ounces that are in here. So, in case you don't have AI or Ask Siri, you also got a conversion chart right there. Pretty cool. So I'm going to pour the old stuff in here, get a measurement, and then that's the exact amount I'm going to put back in. And then there's a plug on the driver's side area behind the wheel well of the transmission that allows you to see if you are at the correct level, since they don't give you a dipstick anymore. Things to make it more difficult. Of course, after you're all done doing that, put everything back together. Hopefully this stuff won't give you any trouble, but make sure you work backwards from how you started, because if not, you'll do what I did and have to take some pieces back out and try again. Put the same amount of fluid that came out back in. You can check, which I didn't show, but it's behind the wheel well, and you can see while it's running, it starts to come back out again, and that's basically where it is full. But the other way of doing it is what I've seen before, is if 4.22 quarts come out, put 4.22 quarts back in.